Hey guys, Stephen Ford from Fordable Property and Finance. I hope you're all well. It's been an interesting month, March that is, because of this global crazy thing called COVID going on. Off the back of that, because I'm self-isolating, just staying home with the family, I thought this is a great opportunity to do a few more, I thought I'd do a few more educational videos. In today's video, I think it's the second one of my educational videos. This one is just going to be around preparing yourself to go and have a conversation and apply for a home loan, okay? So there's a couple of really important things in getting yourself ready for a conversation with me, your broker. That would be understand your finances, first and foremost. I'll break that down a little bit for you. Then do a little bit of market research or searching for properties, and there's a few things to look at there. And then book your appointment. Let's have a sit down. Actually, COVID, let's meet online and we can go through your situation and what your goals are. Breaking down that first one, your personal finances. There's a couple of elements to that, okay? The first one is your budget. If you don't know what you're currently spending and you just go and spend all of your income every week, and you don't know where you're spending it, then that's a really important part of this application process. You need to understand what's called your monthly living expenses. If you've got a budget that you use and you put money aside each month or week, whatever it is, and you can say, oh, I put $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month away for groceries, but in fact you're only spending about 700 of that, then that's a massive difference as well. So we don't want budgets. We actually want what your expenses are, what you're spending. Take a 6-month period from your bank statements, average it out, have a look at it and come up with a reasonable number. Let's say at Christmas time, there's extra spending because of the social activities. Then look at a 6-month spread again on what your social activities are and average it all out, okay? Also, if you're not very good at doing this sort of stuff, if you're not good with using spreadsheets and doing budgets or breaking down costs and putting them into categories, that's something that I do very well. I love doing it. Not only that, I've got this wonderful piece of software that will just look at your transactions, categorize them all for me, and then we can start breaking down what is what, okay? So understand what your expenses are. The second thing around your finances is understanding what your liabilities are. And you need to understand if you've got 2 credit cards, what the limit is, not what's owing, but what the actual limit is. If you've got a car loan that you're still paying off, if you've got some HEX debt or anything like that that's sitting in the background. If you're a business owner, if you've got vehicle and asset finance, how many vehicles have you got? What's the current balance on those vehicles? Because you'll need all of that information for your application. Coming into a meeting with a broker and not having any firm numbers makes the process a little bit longer for you and the broker. So if you can do any of this prep work up front, do it. We need to firm everything up. I need to still validate everything, and I still need to do all of my checks and audit your statements and all that sort of thing. We will get to the bottom of it, but any work that you can do up front is going to help you in that initial conversation. Income is another one around your finances. Some people come to a meeting, they don't even know what their income is. They don't know if their income includes super or is just their base. You should also do a free credit check. The link will be in the description. We do it through Equifax. Every Australian can get a free credit check every year. I've had a client come to me say, my wife and I, we each have a credit card. We put an application in for that. It turned out that they had 6 other cards in the past. And when I spoke to this client, who was a friend of mine, he said, oh yeah, we've got other cards. And it's like, mate, like you're just causing delays for the lender. You're wasting your time. You're wasting our time. Like, come on, declare what is in the background, okay? If you've got 6 credit cards, it's not a problem because we can always present to the lender and say, we're going to close these 6 credit cards, all right? That's not a problem. But going in and not declaring them, that is the problem. So understand your finances from start to finish if you can, okay? Another example, client comes in and says, look, I know we're spending about $4,000 per month on our living expenses. We're also putting away $500 a month into our savings. our deposit that we have at the moment is $50,000, $80,000, 150, I don't know. Then they're reasonably firm numbers. That person is demonstrating they have some understanding as to what their finances are, and it's really helpful for that conversation, okay? So that's the finance piece. There's 4 things to look at: budget, liabilities, income, credit check, okay? Moving on to the next thing is doing some market research. If you know where you want to live, let's say you want to live in Ryde, you love the 2-bedroom apartment lifestyle, there's no lawns to mow, the place is reasonably easy to clean, maybe that's your perfect picture, okay? Do some research, look around Ryde and see what the purchase price might be, all right? It's a really important starting point for you to just come into the meeting and say, hey, the places I'm looking at are around 600, 500, 800, whatever it's going to be. And then that helps with that conversation because we know what we're working towards. You've got a deposit. How much income do you earn? This is the amount that you would like to achieve for a purchase price. Let's work on that, okay? In the market research piece, all right? These are the things that we can help you further on if you're really struggling, but please, if you can do it, then it's worthwhile. Let's say you find your 2-bedroom apartment in Ryde in Sydney. It's a $600,000 purchase. You've got $50,000 saved up, all right? That's not quite 10%. So you need to then go and look at a loan repayment calculator, jump onto our website. I'll put the link in the bio as well. But jump onto our website and say, all right, 600 purchase, $50,000 for a deposit. I'm a first home buyer, so I get stamp duty concessions, maybe whatever else it is. What do repayments on $550,000 look like? That's what you need to, well, not need to, I can do it for you, but it helps because if you look at that number and say, oh, $550,000 per month, my repayments at say 4%, just for a silly number. What does that look like? Oh, that's too much for me. I currently pay X amount in my rent, which I'm comfortable with, but the monthly repayments on $550 would be Y. That's too big a gap. I can't afford it. Then at least it's a good starting point to say, hey, Stephen, I crunched the numbers and it looks like my repayments would be X or Y. They're too high for me, so I'm going to look for something slightly different. Maybe I'll look for a property outside of Ryde where it's a little bit cheaper. But all of this contributes to a really, really impactful, helpful, valuable meeting with me. So market research, you've done that, and then the third thing that you're going to do is book your appointment. Okay. You know your finances, you know what you might be looking at for a property and what the repayments might also look like. And then let's have a sit down. At that meeting, I'll ask lots of questions. I'll get an understanding of who you are, your partner, if there is one, if you've got kids, what the big picture is, if you want to buy your first property, if this is an investment, what the long-term goals are, if you want to have 3 or 4 properties under your belt for retirement, whatever that is. That's where we sit down and we spend all the time just wanting to get our head around how we can best help you, okay? From there, we put an application in. At that point, there's many parts to the rest of this story once the application goes in. So we'll save that for another educational video, but prepare yourself for a home loan. There's the 3 things that you do: finances, market research, book your appointment. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that gets you into an appointment sooner rather than later, and gives you the confidence as to what you should be looking at before having to sit down. Leave some feedback, any thoughts that you have, anything else you want to learn about, ideas and stuff, email us, put it in the bio, in the comments section. Like, subscribe, you know the deal, guys. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you all soon.